Before we begin, I'd like to explain why this video took so long. Yeah, the reason why this video took so long is because not only did the Nashville races air at night, it's something that NASCAR did to combat the notorious policies of Nashville Superspeedway and them not allowing anyone to bring coolers and having empty bags and not allowing loose ice. Yeah, this is something to do with drink sales and pretty much forcing everyone to get drinks. And that makes sense considering that people got heat strokes and stuff like that. So it was a night race and movie night happens. But it was also because I was expected to, well, grind some credits to get really expensive cars and then do some filming while the car grinds away at the credits. But Mom was really into some shows that she was watching. She was hooked into watching shows like the Dale Earnhardt documentary and F1 Academy. And when she gets really hooked, she really watches it. And of course, when she got really hooked in those shows, well, it kind of interrupted my workflow. Yeah, I understand that she liked watching those shows, but my workflow got interrupted because of those shows that she kept binging. So yeah, she kept watching those shows, and I was like, what? When I saw her watch F1 Academy, I was like, what? So yeah, that's one thing that led to another, yada yada yada, and that's why the videos took so long. I apologize for the long delay. But thankfully, I only have 1 or 2 races to deal with for next weekend. I might take a look at the ARCA race to see what the ARCA series is like, since there's no Xfinity race on Saturday. And I don't want to see the truck race. But anyways, on to the video. Greetings, NASCAR enjoyers, and this weekend, the Xfinity boys traveled to Music City. After we got a speech and the national anthem, the Tennessee Lottery 250 begins with William Sawalich making an excellent jump to lead, and Austin Hill tries to run him down. Oh, and the washer's going off in the background, just ignore that. Don't let him get past you, man. BJ gets overtaken by Jesse Love and Sammy Smith. So far, not much has happened, except for a battle for 12th with Zilich, Eckes, and Sammy Smith. Allgaier's trying his best to run down Austin Hill, while Sawalich continues to lead. Chastain is running in 5th. Wait, what? Corey Day does a Kyle Larson, starts to jump up, and even goes as far to do a bump and run on Sammy Smith. Allgaier finally got past Austin, but he still can't get past Sawalich. Hill is trying his best to defend 3rd from Sam Mayer. Our first caution of the day comes out with Parker Reslap spinning out along with Kyle Sieg. Several drivers come down to pit road. It was close, but Austin Hill still wins the race off of pit road. The caution ends with Jeremy Clements, of all drivers, jumping into lead, as he is one of the few drivers to stay out. And just like that, Allgaier yeets past Clements for the lead. Holy crapper, he made quite the jump. Another caution comes out and Corey Day loses control. Because of that, the stage ends under caution. Ryan Sieg also had to get his car refueled as he nearly ran out of fuel. More drivers come down to pit road, and BJ, not BJ McLeod, that's Brandon Jones, is my nickname that I came up for him, wins the race off pit road. The second stage begins with Austin Hill and Justin Allgaier battling for the lead, and Allgaier manages to pull away. Connor Zilich gets past Sammy Smith for 6th. Just when Chastain is battling Sammy Smith for 8th, Blaine Perkins gets involved with another driver, loses control, touches grass, and causes the next caution. The race restarts with Allgaier leading yet again, even with Austin Hill trying to take it away. It even goes 4 wide, and before you know it, Chastain got past Sammy Smith for 8th. Yes, Sheldon Creed got past Austin Hill and is now in 2nd. Almirola gets past Hill for 3rd. Chastain and Zilich both get past Austin Hill, and Hill has fell back to 6th and 7th after Sam Mayer got past. He might get past Eckes and Quapple if he continues to fall behind. Blaine Perkins is trying his best to stay on the lead lap, and just like that, Allgaier wins the 2nd stage. Several drivers come down to pit road during the stage caution. This time, Sheldon Creed wins the race off of pit road. Wait, Sheldon Creed wins the race off of pit road? Holy crap! This might turn the tables. The 3rd and final stage begins with a huge wreck which causes another caution. Christian Eckes and Ryan Ellis are now out of the race as they have wrecked their cars. Thankfully, BJ made it out. The race restarts with Sheldon Creed jumping to the lead, which is impressive as he hasn't made any money. Meanwhile, Chastain is dashing past Carson Quapple and Taylor Gray. Hold up! Connor Zilich is battling Allgaier for 2nd. Thompson and Sammy Smith are battling each other for 12th. While Chastain continues to move up, Zilich is running down Sheldon Creed, and the two engage in a battle for the lead. Holy crap! Zilich got past Sheldon Creed, and now Allgaier wants some. Even though he tried to run him down, Zilich is still leading and starting to gain a bigger lead gap. Sammy Smith gets into a battle for 11th with the 2 JGR rookies. And just like that, Sawalich loses control and causes yet another caution! Blaine Perkins also gets the free pass, and several drivers come down to pit road. BJ wins the race off of pit road. The race restarts with Zilich and Allgaier getting past BJ, and Allgaier is now leading. Meanwhile, Creed, Almirola, and Mayer battle for 3rd. Creed makes a big move and gets past the 2 for 3rd place. Allgaier and Zilich battle for the lead yet again. While the 2 junior motorsports drivers continue to duke it out, they start getting caught in lap traffic. Meanwhile, Love and Gray battle for 9th. Harrison gets past Jeb for 14th. Chastain keeps moving up and passes Almirola for 5th. And he is doing what he does best, holding back the car that's behind him and not letting lap traffic get in his way. Ryan Sieg is trying to do the same thing as Jacob Abel and is not able to do it as Allgaier gets past him and puts the lap down. Even though Gray has issues, the final lap still goes underway, and Justin Allgaier wins at Music City! Yay! In my opinion, the race gets an 8 out of 10 as not much went on, though it gets a point for Justin Allgaier winning his 3rd race of the season, and he definitely deserved that win. Go Allgaier! Yeah, I wasn't intending on having this video become a double feature, but then the Earnhardt documentary and F1 Academy happened, and you know Mom, she likes to binge on shows, and it kind of got in the way of my workflow, so that's why I lumped the 2 videos together. But anyways, on to the next review. Greetings, NASCAR enjoyers, and as the Music City double feature comes to an end, we take a look at the Cracker Barrel 400. Last weekend on Prime, Ross Chastain got a surprise victory after fending off William Byron. Let's see if he can keep this hot streak going. But anyways, the Cracker Barrel 400 at Music City begins with AJ getting a penalty thrown at him for unapproved adjustments. Are you serious? Come on. Colleagues got themselves in the hot water again, especially after AJ Allmendinger's remark about ECR engines. And Chase Briscoe making a jump to the lead. Back in the pack, Kyle Larson tries to catch up, but got loose and ended up in 30th. Luckily, he managed to save his car. After Larson got loose, he attempts to get past Herbst. So far, not much else is going on aside from a battle for the lead with Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe. Like Charlotte, it becomes a game of finding cleaner air. Yeah, it becomes a game of finding clean air is what I meant to say. Larson is currently running in 30th. Briscoe comes down to pit road and gives up the lead to Hamlin until he too decides to pit in. Byron and Dillon are also seen coming down to pit road. several more drivers come down to pit road on green, and Bubba Wallace gets penalized for going too fast on pit road. Again! Next to come down is Reddick. Ross Chastain is running down Giggles Logano, and then more drivers come down to pit road. Jones overtakes the Dinger for 17th. Chase Briscoe is starting to have brake issues while running in 4th. Another driver has issues with his brake pedal, and it's Reddick. Good lord, this track is hard on the brakes. Ryan Blaney and Cindric both come down to pit road during the same time, and Briscoe is back in the lead. Chastain is holding back Buescher, and as the leaders end up in more lap traffic, it becomes a battle of who is better at lapping cars. Hamlin gets overtaken by Byron, and he is now trying to run down Briscoe. Willie B falls back, and Hamlin gets past him. Even though Briscoe tried to block Hamlin, he still gets past Briscoe, and then Reddick gets past him. After an intense battle, Hamlin wins the first stage, and Toyota runs 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, pretty cool, isn't it? Our next set of pit stops come underway, and the two Penske guys win the race off of pit road. Riley Herbst also gets the free pass, but anyways, the second stage begins with Blaney and Cindric running 1-2 until Hamlin gets past Cindric. Holy crapper! Christopher Bell jumped up to 4th, and he's now trying to run Reddick down! Even crazier is the fact that Chase Elliott is battling Byron for 6th. And then the caution comes out with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. hitting the wall. And I know who exactly caused this caution, because it is the driver that I dread to see every time he appears on the TV screen. Wait, that's a caution? Oh wait, Carson Hocevar crashed him out! Dang, you just had to crash someone out! He should get penalized for that. Several drivers come down to pit road during caution, and Hamlin wins the race off of pit road. The caution ends with Hamlin jumping to the lead, and just when things were getting exciting, another caution comes out. Noah Gragson and Alex Bowman both wreck out, and Gragson gets the BeamNG wheel. Yeah, the kind of loose wheel that you see in BeamNG Drive is what I'm referring to, because anyone who's played BeamNG Drive knows about the wheel that gets really loose and it's hard to drive with it. Anyways, Stenhouse, Bowman, and Gragson are now out of the race, but hey, at least they get to fix Bowman's car. That is if they can fix it in time before the race ends, because of these DVP rules. The caution ends with Hamlin jumping to the lead yet again, and then another caution comes out with Christopher Bell spinning out and hitting the wall. He might be out of the race, but spoiler alert, he isn't. Yeah, like, how does his car manage to survive getting wrecked out like that? It's like Ryan Blaney in the Daytona 500. How did he finish when his car was basically reduced to nothing? Yeah. It's mind-boggling. It's questions that a lot of people don't know the answer to. The race restarts with Denny Hamlin jumping to the lead yet again. Blaney and Cindric go at each other for second, and Blaney manages to get past his teammate, as does Giggles Logano. Ugh. Reddick is having issues and trying to get to pit road. Even Larson has wheel issues. Dang, not looking good for the dominant driver, especially, like, things are looking bad for dominant drivers. Like, this whole weekend is basically bad luck for dominant drivers. Alex Palou DNFs and wrecks out, and Larson's having wheel issues. Jeez. I feel bad for these guys having issues in this 2 different races on the same exact day. Jeez, what could possibly go wrong? Berry and Gibbs battle for 9th, and Ross is right behind them. Corey Heim spins out and causes yet another caution. Brad Kay had to come down to pit road to get his car fixed. The caution ends with Hamlin making an impressive jump to the lead, and then all of a sudden, Willie P is running in 3rd. McDowell gets past Zane Smith and is now trying to run down Hocevar. Bell is in the race despite sustaining damage. Wait, what? He gets past Chastain for 13th. Hamlin and Blaney start battling each other for the lead. Come on, man, don't let him get past you. And then Byron is in the mix. Even though he was able to get past Hamlin, the same couldn't be said for Blaney. Blaney manages to get past the two. Meanwhile, Hocevar gets past Gibbs. Gibbs starts falling behind, and both his teammate and Barry get past him. Eric Jones is running in 5th, and that means Legacy is running in the top 5! Yay! It's about time they had a good result in a points-paying race. Yes! And that is why the next-gen car is so good. It actually creates moments like this where the underdog team can have a top 5 finish. Not like the olden days where only top teams would win, unless if there's an engine failure and the underdog manages to have a victory. Yeah, and, well, we all know about the Jimmy Johnson dominance, which is probably why NASCAR refuses to increase the horsepower. Because one driver will use that horsepower package and run away with it and dominate nearly the entire schedule. It's probably why NASCAR wants parity. Just saying. Ryan Blaney wins the second stage of the NASCAR race at Music City. We see some people cooking food for some reason. Yeah, like the camera crews focus on those people cooking steak. No idea why, but I always found it to be weird. Anyways, the next set of pit stop come underway, and Giggles Logano wins the race off of pit road. Good lord. If there's anyone who I do not want to see win the race on pit road and jump up ahead, it's that clown. Yeah, Bozo the Clown. The guy that likes to laugh and is absolutely insane, and yeah, whenever someone wrecks him out, he has to do insane things like what he did at Richmond when he tried to run over Austin Dillon's pit crew. I will never forgive you for that, man. Never. You gotta keep yourself under control, man. Because if you keep doing stuff like that, it's gonna put a damper on your reputation. Just saying. Oh, come on. Barry also gets a penalty thrown at him for going over the wall too soon, and then another caution comes out with Priest losing control. What is with RFK and having issues lately? Like, seriously. Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing keeps having issues every single time, and Priest is the only driver that is managing to do well. Good lord. The caution ends with Logano trying to get away until Blaney gets past him, and Eric Jones jumps up to second. Holy crap! Legacy is looking good! And Logano gets past him after running him down. Again! I hate it when Joey Logano gets past someone and ruins their chances of winning. It happened with Chastain when Chastain tried to run him down. Yeah, it's a sign that the next-gen car doesn't need more horsepower, but drag reduction system. It needs DRS to improve passing. Yeah, I'm not one of those guys who thinks that more horsepower equals better racing, because I have a smarter mindset, and I know that power-to-weight ratio is a thing. That's one comment, that's one set of words that NASCAR fans will get stumped at. It'll stump any NASCAR fans if you bring it up, because yeah, they only understand horsepower, they don't understand power to weight ratio. Why do you think the Nissan GTR was so fast, and why do you think the Bugatti Veyron was so fast? Because not only do they have a lot of horsepower, but they're able to put that horsepower to good use thanks to the power to weight ratio. And even though the Nissan GTR has less than 500 horsepower, as the earlier models do, it's still pretty fast because it has power to weight ratio. Yeah, it's a science. Go look it up. Hocevar manages to get past Chastain. Come on, man. Like, please. I don't want to see that again in the next race. I don't want to see that again in Michigan. But it would be cool for Hocevar to win at Michigan, considering that he lives in Michigan. But I would rather see Eric Jones or Brad Kay win, because they're also Michigan natives, but their reputation is not as bad as Hocevar's is. Jeez. Hamlin also jumps up to third after getting past Jones. Denny Hamlin runs down Giggles Logano and gets past him for second. Eric Jones now wants revenge against Logano. I can't blame him. He can't manage to get past Logano, and then Byron is trying to run him down. Larson is currently running in ninth. Wait, what? How did that happen? I see him having a bad day and him running in the back. How did he get ahead? And it probably explains why Hamlin couldn't lap Larson, because he was just going too hard on the throttle and going too fast. Jeez. It's why the FIA have blue flags, especially in Formula 1 and Le Mans. It's to allow other drivers to slow down while they get lapped, but Larson does the same thing as Mazepin and Jacob Abel and holds them back because in NASCAR and IndyCar it's different, and drivers are allowed to fight for the lead lap, which is probably why he did it. Yeah, doing the same thing as Jacob Abel and Nikita Mazepin, trying to hold up the faster cars while being way behind. Anyways, Eric Jones manages to pull away from Byron, and Hocevar is currently battling Willie B for 5th. Good lord, man. We also get the burn bar, and we know how much fuel the drivers are burning during the race itself. Something that Fox Sports doesn't have, and that's pretty cool because I actually like to see how much gas the drivers are burning during the race. Like, mileage may vary, and I mean that in a literal way. Yeah, I like the burn bar. It's another reason why Amazon Prime NASCAR broadcasts are so great. Especially to those who refuse to buy Amazon Prime or get a free trial because they still have cable. Yeah, I really pity those who still have cable because cable is dying of a slow death. Yeah, like barely anybody uses cable anymore. Who uses cable? Like, we don't use cable. Our family doesn't use cable, and barely any of my relatives don't use cable anymore. So a lot of people are cutting back on cable, and there's more people on streaming than cable nowadays. Yeah, just wanted to bring that up, okay? Because I am a streaming guy. Well, I don't like streaming most of the time, but it's way better than paying for an expensive cable bill. Believe me. Eric Jones comes down to pit road and next to joining are Hocevar and McDowell. Chastain then comes down to pit road. Logano and Larson are next to come down to pit road. More drivers come down to pit road along with a few other drivers who decide to come down to get fresh tires and or gas. As expected, more drivers come down to pit road. Hamlin makes a pit stop and gives up the lead to Cindric until he too makes a pit stop. Blaney starts getting caught up in lap traffic. Blaney gets loose, and then Hamlin gets into a battle with Hocevar, who is running in second. Reddick gets past Bell for 10th, and then gets past Chastain. On the final lap, Blaney gets the win. Thank goodness it's not Logano, the yang of the Penske group. Yeah, Blaney is the yin, and Logano is the yang, like both good and evil, yin-yang symbol. It represents the balance of both good and evil, and I think that the driver lineup in Penske is perfectly balanced. It's just that Logano really hates Austin Cindric for letting a Toyota get the stage win. Seriously, he was just doing his job. Just let him do his job, man. And just let Austin Cindric get the Talladega win. Don't be so hard on him. He's one of the guys, even though his dad was fired, he's still a good driver and can win some races sometimes, as if he actually is in contention to win. Anyways, let's continue. Yeah, this race had some exciting moments, but other than that, it's an 8 out of 10. I'm glad that Carson Hocevar didn't win, and yeah, if Carson Hocevar doesn't win, that's a thumbs up for me because I really don't want to see him win. I don't want to see Austin Hill win either. Yeah, I can see why Bubba hated Austin Hill, Bubba Wallace. Probably doesn't like his attitude in the Xfinity series. Yeah, definitely understand that. That's understandable, even though some people hate Bubba Wallace. I like him though. He's a great guy. To me, yes. The race itself is decent and typical for next-gen standards, but nothing can beat the Coca-Cola 600. The Coke 600 was just phenomenal. But anyways, time to sign off. Here are last year's Nashville races if you want to see them. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell just in case you haven't already done so. Next week, we're going over to the home states of the Louds, and I'll be here watching it on TV. Catch you guys next time, and peace out.